My name is Famila Rebecca and I'm the Co-Executive Director of Community Center for Integrated Development. So in continuity to continue our project, we actually did a training today with women and girls in Limbe 1 on the prevention and response of gender-based violence in the community. So generally it was a very interactive session and there was a lot of emotions during the session because we found out that women here are actually suffering from a lot of gender-based violence, especially in terms of rape, physical violence, domestic violence, and all of these things. And the emotions, there's so many emotions, there's so many shared experiences, actually made us to have an open eye on the real issues that people in this very community are suffering when it comes to gender-based violence. And also we had to we exchanged knowledge with them on the response to gender-based violence, such as the response mechanisms and the referral pathway and the other sectors, like the other sectors that work with on gender-based violence in the community. So it was like a very good workshop or very good training.
I'm Ms. Zalamong Dora and I actually acted as a facilitator for this program. And this training was all about training women on gender-based violence. And in the course of this training, we looked at what gender-based violence is all about, what it is. We looked at some of the causes of gender-based violence. We looked at some of the effects of gender-based violence. And we also looked at some of the referral pathways whereby women and girls who suffer gender-based violence can reach out to in cases where they have experienced gender-based violence in their homes or in their communities. So in a nutshell, the women were drilled on what gender-based violence is all about, its causes, and then we looked at certain risk factors when it comes with a certain category of women in the society, such as the stay-at-home women, victims of gender-based violence, working women, and IDP, that is the internally displaced women of the community here in the Limbe municipality.
I'm Madam Ewo Adeli, the Chief of Social Center, Limbe 1. This workshop has actually come in to complement what the social center and the social affairs as a whole in the faculty division has been doing, because we consider the organization as a private social welfare institution which is there to complement the objectives of MINAS. So with this workshop on capacity building to mobilize young girls and women to fight against gender-based violence, what the organization actually did calls for great appraisal from us, because the various forms of gender-based violence were brought out and most of the women had to realize some of the acts of violence that they've been facing.
My name is Deborah Ndasi. I come from Limbe. Welcome to Limbe. We don't learn plenty things. We learn children abuse. We learn how to keep our home. We learn this thing. We learn violence. We learn violence for our homes. We talk about IDP. We talk about disabled people them. So we talk about general things, how to keep our home and how to stay together with our husband and the children and all the family, how to stay together.
It's a very interactive session. it was so emotional. People actually spoke about their issues, particularly about the issues when it comes to gender-based violence, and the whole issues, like really contextualizing these issues in our community. That understanding was really there of gender-based violence, and we finally discovered that we were able to deconstruct some certain understanding or some certain norms when it comes to gender-based violence, especially harmful gender practices such as breast ironing, female genital mutilation.
With this workshop, I think most of them, some as participants came through our services. We actually gave them calls to come attend such a program. Once we were informed, despite the short notice, some of them made it to show that at least they appreciate what the state and the private organizations are doing. So I want to say that this community-based Community Center for Integrated Development is actually doing a lot, and we pray that they'll continue and go to higher heights to help fight every form of gender-based violence in our community and ensure the growth and emancipation of the woman. I believe they are coming up with another dimension of this workshop, that is, they will deal with the male. If they are here today with the female, I think men also, they are also victims of violence. They have their own form of violence they go through, and I believe when the two are integrated, the society will be balanced.
During the training session, like the participation was actually very, very encouraging, because I realized that a lot of women were actually very eager to share their experiences, especially concerning gender-based violence, and to also share experiences of neighbors or other people in their communities where they live, and those who have actually experienced gender-based violence around them. So it was encouraging, and the women actually, they spoke out and shared a lot of experiences with one another, and it was really interactive. And I believe they went back home, or they are going back home with a lot of knowledge impacted on them.
I want to thank them very, very much, because I learned so much today about the project, the program.
Community Center for Integrated Development is actually doing a very wonderful job, and I really appreciate their effort to sensitize the population, to sensitize the community on gender-based violence and its causes, its effects, and I mean it's really applaudable, and I think that they are actually creating a lot of impact in our respective communities, and I pray that Community Center for Integrated Development should continue carrying out projects such as this in the future.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank our facilitator, that's Galim Dora, who works with the Ministry of Social Affairs, and Madam Angeline, who works too with the Ministry of Social Affairs. It's actually because it was actually a partnership, or we're actually in partnership with them in organizing this training, and I really want to thank them for taking out time to try to trickle down this knowledge to these participants. And lastly, I want to thank the German Embassy for making sure that this project, this training was possible.